yourself. Sit on a comfortable position. It could be on your bed, on your chair, against the wall. Maybe we are having a lot of anxiety, stress. Right now, let it go. Close your eyes only if you are comfortable. Relax yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. Let your mind be relaxed. Let yourself be relaxed. Now it's time for us to practice the loving kindness meditation. Practice metta meditation with these guided loving kindness thoughts. May my mind be filled with the thoughts of loving friendliness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. May I be free from enmity. May I be free from ill will. May I be generous. May I be gentle. May I be relaxed. May I be happy and peaceful. May I be healthy. May my heart become soft. May my words be pleasing to others. May my actions be kind. May all that I see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and think help me to cultivate loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. May all these experiences help me to cultivate thoughts of generosity and gentleness. May they all help me to relax. May they inspire friendly behavior. May these experiences be a source of peace and happiness. May they help me to be free from fear, tension, anxiety, worry, and restlessness. Again and again, spread these loving kindness thoughts to yourself. May my beloved parents, teachers, Dharma teachers, friends, well-wishers, and all those who are indifferent to me be free from enmity, ill will, and grudge. May they all be happy, healthy, and peaceful. Spread loving kindness thoughts to the whole universe. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Stay with your silent thoughts, spreading loving kindness thoughts to the whole universe like this for another moment. Once you hear the bell, you're gonna stop loving kindness meditation just for now.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Venerable Pangaloka, leading the loving kindness meditation. Now, time for the Dhamma talk. Today our speaker, Sai Mahajan. Basically, he's speaking every month, second Sunday of every month. We really appreciate about your help, Sai, and you can start your Dhamma talk right now.
Thank you, Bante. Good morning, everyone. And I know today is Easter for some people, so happy Easter. And we have been talking about Abhidhamma. I want to start with a story about two friends who were born in a high realm. So in Buddhist cosmology, we talk about different world. And these two friends, they were not humans. They had a very long life. And they were, let's say, they were in heaven. And these two friends were having conversation. They can tell when they would die. So knowing that death is coming closer, one friend talks to the other friend, says that, depending on my karma, I will be born I may not be born in a good place. So as a friend, I want to ask you for a favor. If I'm born in a very low realm or in a world of animals, please come and save me. I would be ready to die and be released from that life so I can be born in a different world. So this friend requested and the second friend agreed because of their friendship. So yeah, that sounds good. I will come and, save you. And time passes as they knew about their karma and their rebirth. As we talk in Buddhism, the first friend who asked favor was born as a worm in a cow dung. So it's a story, so don't panic. It's just a story. He was born as a worm in a cow dung, and the other friend, the friend who was supposed to save, was born as a crow. And for some reason, because of their promise, they remembered each other's promise. So the crow friend thought, okay, it's time to go and save my friend. He flew over the area where these cattle are, and he found the spot where his friend was living. And he made some, friendly sound like the crows do. He called his friend out, and the friend came out with a bunch of other worms and saw the friend and recognized and said, like, why are you here? Well, I'm here because we made a promise. We had a pact. I'm here to save you. Doesn't seem like your life is good. You're in a cow dung. It doesn't look good. You're suffering a lot. And the worm, who was the worm now, he said, like, are you kidding me? This is the best life I've ever had. So don't you dare to take me out of this place. So that's the end of the story. And the story tells, in Pali, we talk about our attachment to life. We hold so near and dear. In third noble truth, when we talk about dukkha satya, samudaya satya, dukkha nirodha satya, the first one explains, what is this desire? Why we are so attached to things that, we surround ourselves. And there is tatra tatra binandini in Pali. We attach to every life and every form. And we think, when we look at the other living beings, like in Buddhism, animal is a separate world. It's an animal realm. And we think they suffer. They are like the story, it's not a good place to be at. However, from their perspective, that is the best life. So why people or beings think that's the best life? Because we get attached to it. Now, I'm trying to take to the topic that we were discussing. We've been talking about the Buddhist psychology, Abhidhamma. And today, as we continue to talk about different types of consciousness, we will be briefly discussing the 5 fine material consciousness that is explained in the Abhidhamma. And when we talked about the wholesome consciousness, unwholesome consciousness. This one is little above, little beyond typical human consciousness. These fine material consciousness require a lot of effort to generate in human world. And the first one, when you look at the four, in Abhidhamma, there are 5 types of contemplation meditation or samatha meditation. And this rupa jhana, or fine material consciousness, that arises against 5 types of hindrances. So we'll focus on those 5. Now, when somebody is practicing meditation, there are 2 types of meditation. One is contemplation meditation, the other one is insight meditation. And the contemplation meditation is very powerful to develop one-pointedness. You learn to, in the monastic practice, you take an object. There are over 40 types of objects explained in Buddha's teaching to develop contemplation meditation. And many forms. You can use vision as one. You can use virtues, like the Buddha's virtues, Dhamma, Sangha, and the qualities in other areas can be used as an object to develop this deep concentration meditation. Now, when you choose an object, the contemplation meditation or samatha bhavana is arising, you have to have a very clear understanding about the object. Let's say I took this singing bowl as an object. I have to understand all the characteristic of this object. And even after I close my eyes, I'm able to hold this object in my mind as if I'm still looking at it. So there's a separate, we can talk about that in a separate discussion, but to talk about this 5 fine material consciousness, once you have that object clearly held in your mind and you deepen your meditation, you close your eyes, there's a chance that you will still be distracted. There's a chance that you will still have, like a visiting thoughts all the time. However, if you maintain long enough your focus, one-pointedness, there arises the first jhana, the absorption, or the first fine material consciousness. And in that fine material consciousness, there are 5 qualities. That's how there are 5 consciousness in fine material jhana. The first one is vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata. And we'll go one by one. So we'll talk about the first one, vitakka. In Pali, vitakka means thought, just the sort of thinking. Now, in meditative state, vitakka is you take an object, you're able to direct your mind to the object for a longer time. Now, you hold that object, examine the characteristic of it, and you try to refrain from distraction. You try to refrain from proliferating those thoughts and refrain from allowing any of the other negative thoughts to come, unwholesome thoughts to come. And if you contrast this, what happens to anytime you try to meditate, these 5 hindrances are the main problem. In Pali, the term is nivarana. That means something that covers the goodness. So it's a loose meaning. Nivarana means something that covers the goodness. And our mind has this quality by innate quality to be pure in Buddha's teaching. And without such innate quality, we cannot think of enlightenment. Our mind is not polluted by nature. When it becomes polluted, agantukehi sankilite dhammehi sankilitam. So the external thoughts, the thoughts that come around, makes our mind polluted. So if mind is by nature not polluted, we can bring that back. That's the point here. And one of that pollution is when you have this vitakka, the application of thought in the first stage of fine material consciousness, you are trying to remove slot and topper, the first, not third one, not the first nivarana hindrance. That is, you're trying to remove temporarily. That's not a permanent removal. Temporarily remove laziness. That's the loose translation. Tina midda is the Pali term. in English, you would say sloth and torpor, which is also meant laziness of our mind and body. So when you are able to apply your consciousness to an object, it helps to remove laziness. So that's where you see the first jhana. Now, if you have practiced meditation for a longer time, whether it is insight meditation or you're focusing on breath, and you are able to sustain in that, focusing on your breath, incoming breath and outgoing breath, what happens is your laziness, your mind and body sluggishness is suppressed temporarily. And that's when you say, you can tell that, oh, I am having this presence of vitakka. And that is accompanied by vichara, piti, sukha, and ekaggata. We'll look into each. So the first fine material consciousness has this unique quality of applying our thought to that object. And it suppresses the third hindrance, which is laziness of mind and body. Once you continue to sustain, once you continue to practice this fine material contemplation meditation, the second jhana in Abhidhamma is, now you don't need any more direction of the thought. It's already there. Now you sustain it. That's what vichara means. Vichara also means to examine in Pali, or discuss about it. But here, the meaning in Abhidhamma is explained as sustained application of thought. Now, once you took it, let's say, breathing as an object to start your meditation, you're able to sustain your attention to that breathing process, incoming breath and outgoing breath. And you are able to clearly start noticing the change in your breath cycle. Now, in our body, some people, when they try to practice mindfulness or any type of meditation, we try to tell them, try to focus any sensation that you notice in your body. Our mind is so used to noticing the strong, gross sensations, because our mind is not sharp enough to identify or see those subtle sensations. Once you have deepened your meditation, you start realizing our body is constantly experiencing so many types of sensations. Now here, what happens is when you have this sustained application of thought in the object, we're using breath, now you start noticing the nature of breath. Now you start noticing its ephemeral nature. It doesn't last too long, and how it tries to create more thoughts. Like when you breathe in, there is a minor anxiety that you're stressed inside. When you breathe out, there's a relief, but at the same time, you fear about another cycle of breath. And same thing with the pain. We only know when there's a sharp pain, but now start noticing the pain doesn't last the same way. It continues to change from small, within the same spot. It moves from one spot to another. Sometimes it expands. Sometimes it gets subtler. Sometimes it starts to disappear. So all these nature of our sensation, of our thought process, we start to notice. We start to notice the content of thought when you are having those thoughts. So this is the sustained application. And that's the second jhana quality. You are able to remain focused in that one object for a longer time. And what happened to the hindrance? There are 5. So the first jhana suppressed temporarily the laziness of mind and body. The second jhana will help to suppress doubt, because once you have contemplated longer enough on a given object, you're able to see it yourself. That's what makes Buddhism a little harder to practice, because we don't have a guru to follow and just listen to him or her and do what they say. We have to practice. We have to gain these stages of meditation or enlightenment through our own sensual experience. So that's why in Pali we say, Tumhe kichang atapa. You have to do this practice, and you have to have this self-realization. So using breath, when you deepen it, you are able to sustain in that breath, incoming and outgoing breath, and the nature of breath itself. You're able to temporarily suppress doubt. That's the second hindrance. You don't question anymore. You don't have the argument in your head. Is this gonna work? Is there any good thing out of this practice, because now you start realizing you start realizing, oh, there is change. There is impermanence in my breath. There is suffering in breath. There is no self in breath. So you start seeing that on your own. That's where this doubt is temporarily suppressed. And as you go deeper, and the third stage of samatha meditation, or this fine material consciousness, is piti. Piti is loosely translated as to refresh or to experience joy. It's not physical pleasure, it's more mental joy. Now, when you have this physical pleasure, that means you are enjoying your experience. Now, I don't want to use enjoying, you experience this rapture. Your body feels this thrill through this meditation. It's not based on eating something good or having a massage or running a marathon kind of pleasure. This is more detached from all those sensual, pleasure. This is a joy. And this helps when you have this, when you are experiencing within, let's say, go back to the breathing practice, you are very present with your incoming, outgoing breath. You sustain your attention. You start noticing how your body, in Pali, they explain there are 5 ways to experience pleasure. Sometimes you start feeling that your hairs are standing up. Your body, from head to toe, you feel this wave of joy. Now, that is not associated with, again, our sensual pleasure. It's a joy, it's a rapture that comes from deep meditation. And when you are in that stage, you are able to suppress the fourth, second in order hindrance, which is aversion. Now, your desire to hurt somebody or yourself could be very powerful. That's a hindrance. It's an obstacle for meditator and also educators. Sorry, I talk about these 5 hindrances, how it affect students, those who are learning. You cannot focus, you cannot maintain one-pointedness because you constantly worry about hurting somebody, or you have strong, deep-seated hatred toward something or someone. That becomes an obstacle for any kind of learning. So when somebody is in third stage of jhana, the person is able to have more rapture or joy and also suppress temporarily this aversion. Now, if you don't know aversion, I may have talked about this in previous meetings. We start from simple experience like liking and disliking, it is not a karma itself, right? Now, that can go a little worse, which would be hatred, right? From dislike, it can turn into anger, then it can turn into hatred. And hatred is still not a karma by itself. When it becomes dangerous is aversion. When you have aversion, you wish for somebody's demise. You wish for somebody to be injured or to not exist or to be dead. That's a very strong thought. And that thought itself could be considered unwholesome thought. So in this meditation, you're trying to overcome that, at least temporarily. And the third absorption meditation, or fine material jhana, you are experiencing piti along with other 2, sukha and ekagata. And in the fourth fine material consciousness, there's no more piti, now there is sukha. That means there is a sukha. Again, it's not physical pleasure, it's a detachment from the sensual experience. You're experiencing joy. We call niramisa sukha. That means nothing to do with eating, seeing, or feeling. It is the mental joy, mental pleasure that you experience from this meditation. And when you're in this stage, your mind and body is not anymore agitated. That's the fourth hindrance, it's suppressed. And in Pali, we call uddhacca kukucca. Uddhacca kukucca is your mind is constantly agitated. Why? For example, you eat your lunch or dinner, you think about, okay, this is good, but how do I get better food? You're not enjoying the experience of what you're eating or what you're doing because your mind is already thinking about what next, because it's agitated. It constantly look for new ideas, new experience, new feelings. Now that does not let you be mindful. of what you're doing, that does not let you to enjoy what you're doing, and you're constantly expecting something better, something more, something different. And this meditation, fourth stage, you're able to suppress that. You're able to simply, sometimes people ask, like, how could you, Buddha explains, I have the best joy in the world, which is meditation. People, those who are new to meditation, they question, how do you get that? It's almost like you're trying to explain a frog, or a fish, what land is, because they've never seen land. Even you try to explain them what land is, they try to see the land from their perspective, which is water. So there is no land in water. And every time you try to explain the concept, the perception is limited to water. Or there's another analogy in Buddhism. You try to explain a blind person by birth, what is white color, right? So they have no perception of color. They don't know what white looks like. And you use all this analogy, you try to tell, oh, white color is like cloud, it looks like sometimes the bunny, the rabbit's skin color, or there's a white swan. And they have their own imagination. Oh, it's a puffy, flying, bunny-like animal. So they make their own perception. So anyway, talking about this practice, getting this joy without attachment is, again, you can hear about it, but you will never experience without your own practice. Someone else's journey will not take you to that destination. And coming back to this meditation, the fine material consciousness, the last one, the fifth one, is one-pointedness based on equanimity. Now, there's no more joy or sukha associated with fine material consciousness, because you have gone beyond. You have only one-pointedness. You hold to that object, whether it is breathing or a visual image or the Buddha's image, is so powerful. You don't have any of those joy or pleasure or sustained attention. It's one-pointedness, as if there is like in a dark, when you're sitting in a dark, you see the tiny hole in the door and the beam light comes out of that door. So it's that focused. You don't see anything else inside the dark room. Only thing you see is that light beam. So that's how sharp our mind gets. And this is another stage of fine material consciousness. And to conclude, these consciousness are possible to be generated. We can have them. And just like I was using example of breathing meditation. Oh, actually, in the fifth stage, what happens is it temporarily suppresses sensual desire. So now if you look at these five, Vitakka helps to suppress your laziness, right? Vichara, Vitakka is a thought, application of thought, and Vichara, the sustained application of thought, helps to suppress, Vichara suppresses doubt, right? And the third one, Piti, joy or rapture, helps to suppress aversion. Sukha helps to suppress mental and physical agitation. And the last one, Ekagata, one-pointedness, helps to suppress sensual desire. Now, these five hindrances are attacked by these five mental, fine material consciousness. And that's how we explain, it can go deeper in meditation, in samatha bhavana. And the distinction, why it is samatha or contemplation meditation and not insight meditation, well, in contemplation meditation, we only focus on suppressing these five hindrances, and these are temporary. That's why I kept telling, temporarily it will suppress these hindrances. And people, those who live, and sometime, let's say in the moment of death, the person has happened to have this consciousness, the person will be born in a realm of Brahma. We call that's the, higher than the God. We'll talk about the realms in a different meeting. When they're born there, the lifetime is very long. And I'll connect with the story I shared. Now, these five contemplation can be arising in human beings. If they die with that consciousness, they will be born in a realm where the lifespan is extremely long, extremely, extremely long. they calculated in not even celestial years, they calculated in eons. And if you think of the lowest heaven, which is Chatum Maharajika, in Buddhist cosmology, that realm has a lifespan of 500 celestial year. And what is a 500 celestial year? Well, 50 years of human life is equal to 1 day in celestial world. And now you do the math. I don't know how to do the math. So you do the math. 50 years equal to 1 day times 500 years of celestial life in the lowest realm. Now, that is one way to calculate, lifespan in heaven. The another one is the eons. There is interium eon, there is incalculable eon, and there's a higher eon. And in Pali, we call kappa, asankhya kappa, and mahakappa. Now, when you think of those eons, there is no number given. So this is how Buddha explained how long is a eon. And I'll connect why I'm talking about these eons. It's not because I love the numbers. The eon is one eon. If I'm saying it right, correct me if I'm not pronouncing the word right. It's A-E-O-N, right? Eon. One eon is equal to the time period that takes human lifespan to grow from 10 years. So human could lose lifespan up to, lifespan is 10 years. Right now we have, 80, 90, 100. Some people live beyond 100. So that's lifespan for humans, right? So it will shrink all the way down to 10 years. And it will go, again, start when people are more moral, ethically righteous, the lifespan will continue to grow bigger and longer. That can go over 1,000 years of human lifespan in one lifespan. Some people can live over thousands of years. So from that 10 year to thousands of years, how long does it take for this evolution, lifespan, to grow from shortest to the longest? Now, all that time is calculated as 1 eon. Now, think of that is that eon times 500, 1,000, 2,000, 6,000, so on. So the lifespan in the Brahma world is equal to those Brahma celestial years in thousands. Now, the bottom line is once you are born in those realms, the lifespan is extremely, extremely long, right? Very long lifespan. And what you do there is you have fine material. That means you are not enjoying the things that we do, eat, sleep, and drink kind of activities. It's more meditative state. You live there as long as you have your lifespan and you continue to practice, or you enjoy the result of your meditative practice. So somebody's born there, they could possibly again come back to the human world or the animal world. The story I told you, no matter how long the lifespan in this celestial world or the Brahma world, it doesn't matter. And if you ask why Buddhism don't wish for heaven, well, this is the point. No matter how long those lifespan is, there is a finite end, right? It ends. Even it takes so many thousands and billions of years, it ends. And that's why Buddha never encouraged to practice this meditation and go to the heaven, go to the Brahma world. Why? To him, in this grand scheme of human existence, this lifespan is not a lot. You will live there for a while, then you will come back. And just like the story, somebody who was in heaven or a greater world could be born in a cow dung as a worm or an animal. Not to say that it will be an animal, but the person can fall to the lower life. So I hope the message, if you take it right, the message is that when you learn about these different type of meditation and consciousness, it can be used to, again, work against these hindrances and better experience this life and better experience your everyday activity. And these 5 consciousness has results similar to these 5 consciousness itself, and also can be found as a function. When somebody is already enlightened, they can have this consciousness, and it's a mere function. So we'll talk about immaterial consciousness in our next meeting. So I'll take any question if you have. Yes, please. Venerable Mira. I think you're still mute. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm sorry, I have a bad cold. I have a lot of questions, but actually what I want to do is thank you, because that was a fascinating Dharma talk, I have to say. And it's so complex. I feel like I need a whole, like a 6-month class, a day a week at least, to absorb all of it. But from what you've said, it's given me a good starting point. I mean, first of all, some of it I know, but it's given me a good point of reference to read about the rest.
Yes.
And to study the rest, because I feel like very one-pointed when it comes to what you said, just in terms of focusing. And it's surprising because, again, what you said was so complex that at first I thought, I'm not going to be able to keep up with him. But the more you spoke, the more you were focused from the beginning, but the more you spoke, the more focused I got. And it's really rare to have that kind of experience. It should happen all the time. And in my life it does, but I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say, I don't want to put it that way, actually, but I hope you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a joy to have that experience.
Yes.
So I want to thank you for that joy.
Thank you, Mira. Thank you. Yeah, that's, I think my point is to introduce the topic, like you said. I don't think I can talk a lot more to continue to build on this, but since given the limited time, I want to introduce the ideas or renew, like you said, some of these, you've heard of them, and present it in a little more, little different ways so people can start connecting. And that Dhammapiti, what you said is you're like, in Dhammapada, the famous book, there is a quote, or the verse says, Dhammapiti Sukhang Seti. People, when they experience this joy of listening Dhamma, they have a good sleep. So I hope you will have a good sleep tonight. But at the same time, it's again a type of joy. Like one point is the joy that comes from not food, not drink, not massage, not running. It's a different form of joy, and it's hard to explain. I'm with you. I have been in those moments just by reading a book, reading a sutta. Okay, that's such a joy I cannot explain. I'm elated by reading a sutta, and because in my head I am in the presence of the Buddha. I'm listening to him. I'm listening to his way of explaining human experience. Those are very strong memory. And it's not just the point is not just to have that experience and like, oh, I'm done kind of thing. It is more to the motivation, right? So sadhaya upasankamati, when people have faith, or better term is the confidence in Buddha's teaching, they approach. And when they approach, they listen. And when they listen, they contemplate. When they contemplate, then they deepen their insight. So it's a nice journey to be part of this group. And I left. I was a monk. I don't know if you know me. I was a monk for 16 years, and I left in 2016. This is 7th year, and I continue to come back because it has little to do with my attire. It has to do with what I have learned from this, and the knowledge, the wisdom that has changed me. And I continue to see that whenever I have the opportunity. Yes, life gets busy, but I'm not going to abandon what I have learned for that many years. And like in Buddhism, there's a saying, when somebody has meditated and practiced this Dhamma, it's almost like you, in a dark, there is a lightning and you see your city, right? It's very fast. Lightning lasts like a millisecond, but you see that glimpse. Now, you're not going to forget that just because it lasted short. And that's like, I feel I am like that. I have seen the glimpse of this Dhamma and experienced it, and I'm not going to forget. So I hope that was what we're doing here, talking, answering questions, hearing, should motivate you to learn more and apply that in your life, and definitely deepen your understanding, and eventually, as we all want to, achieve that enlightenment, that wisdom. Thank you for your comment.
I think thanks, Sai, again. Hope to see you soon next
Thank you,
month.
Bante.
And have a good day for you. I'll call you sometime, okay? We
Okay,
have to talk
Bante.
a lot of things.
Sure,
right.
Bante.
All right, thank you
Have
again.
a good Sunday, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hi,
Thank
Judy.
you.
Sophia.
All right, we're going to chant the page 4 and page 10. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Saranam gacchami. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them all. Deluding passions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them all. Dharma gates are limitless. I vow to study them all. Buddha's way is supreme. I vow to attain it. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the struck fearless be. May the living shadow be, and the sick find help relief. May thank you again for everybody. I just want to say a few things. I was away last few weeks from the center. I was back in my country, take care of some temples problem there, and when I was there, and so many ways, all these monks and everybody's take care of the temple, giving the Dhamma talk, coming to temple, take care, Mr. Nam, Kashanti, Shraddha, the our monks, everybody. And I have to say thank you so much for kind of your help. And next Sunday, I just talked to the Subodha. He's going to give a talk. I believe the 16th of April, he's going to give a Dhamma talk. So that's it right now, and hope to see you again next Sunday. And by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, you all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And I have a tea and cookies. I have some Sri Lankan, some kind of Sri Lankan cookies, cake, cashew nut, sesame seed, whatever I bring from Sri Lanka. So somebody have to make a tea, then we can have over there, you know, everything.